Broncos country. Tomorrow is a playoff game for us. Let's be honest about it. We got to go into Cincinnati, get a tough victory on the road, and hopefully clinch our first playoff berth since 2015. I'm going to get into some of the details about that. Again, guys, thank you to everybody who's found the channel. Be sure to like, subscribe. We're on our way to 2,100. Hopefully by the end of this week. This is awesome, but let's go ahead and get started. This is what I wanted to lead with. Adam Rank. He's like our only ally on NFL Network right now. The only one that believes that we're going to go into Cincinnati and get the dub. Again, our first playoff berth since 2015. Second longest in the NFL right now, our playoff drought. Only ahead of the New York Jets, which I think they're going on like 14, 15 years. It's something crazy. But as you can see, Adam Rank has us getting 26 points and holding the Bengals to an offense that's close to averaging 30 points a game right now. Red hot Joe Burrow to 24 points. I'm going to get into all my keys to victory and all of that. Of course, want to hear what you guys have to say. Feel free to join the chat. But I wanted to also lead with this. Check this out. Thank you to Marky Sports and Jeremy Otten for sending me this tweet earlier today. But the last time the Broncos clinched a playoff spot, guys, was on December 28th, 2015, coming off of a 34-27 loss. They played against the Bengals. They had the opportunity to do that back in 2015. And now in 2024, on December 28th, tomorrow, after coming off of a 34-27 loss, we got the opportunity to make things right and get a playoff berth clinched. And it's not going to come easy. The Cincinnati Bengals, don't let the record deceive you. They are a good football team. And honestly, I'm a little surprised that Joe Burrow is still healthy at this point of the year. But hey, this is why I got the Bo Nix jersey on today. I got to believe in what's going on. Can we right the ship? Get over this loss. Go stop a red-hot Cincinnati Bengals team? I think so. Now, before we dive into the statistics, let's go look at the injury report right now. And guys, there have been a handful of roster moves made. Some of these, I guess I didn't cover earlier in the week. It's Christmas. Hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas and happy Hanukkah as well. Tyler Badie, he's back, being activated from that back injury. He definitely should be able to help us. Hopefully, he is somebody who gets carries with Audric Estime. To make room for his roster spot, I believe we cut Levi Wallace earlier this week. So he's out of there. So Chris Abrams-Drain has proven over the last couple games that he's that dude. He's that dude. I think we got a solid 4 cornerbacks right now, or 5, with Riley Moss returning. We got Pat Surtain, Riley Moss, Jaquan McMillan, Chris Abrams-Drain, and then Damari Mathis and Tremont Smith. I guess we got 6 guys that we can go with, and I definitely feel very good about those top 4 guys. You can see Riley Moss, full participant the entire week, which is great. Jaleel McLaughlin, full participant the last couple days, so hopefully he is active as well. Troy Franklin had a little bit of an ankle injury. I think he might have actually even left last week's game against the Chargers in a boot, if I remember correctly. I might just be imagining that, but he's a full participant. And Tyler Badie, we'll have to see what happens, but I really, really do love the fact that we got everybody practicing. Hopefully we got everybody healthy. And Riley Moss, him being back is huge. And him being back is why I think the Broncos are going to get it done. Not going to lie to you guys, I'm still nervous about tomorrow's game. Anytime you're facing a quarterback that's playing MVP caliber football like Joe Burrow, I think that's normal to be a little bit nervous. But having Riley Moss back, I think we're going to see Vance Joseph kind of get back in his bag a little bit, so to speak. Now, on the Bengals side of things, this is a normal Bengals injury report right here. It is long, long, long. So I think you will see safety Jordan Battle and Orlando Brown play, full participants. Joe Burrow obviously will be playing. T. Higgins was limited all week. I think that is going to be a little bit up in the air, but I'm going to expect him to play as well. Sam Hubbard, defensive end, out. Catching a little bit of a break there. Tanner Hudson, one of their depth tight ends, out as well, or most likely doubtful. Excuse me. Had to sneeze. Amarius Mims. Isn't he a rookie? I think he should be playing as well. The only other guy that is ruled out right now is Sheldon Rankins, one of their defensive tackles. Looks like some illness is working its way through the Bengals locker room right now. And hopefully that's something that we can catch a break on. No doubt about it, because we'll get into the weather report later on, but I don't think the weather is looking too great. This needs to be a game in which we don't put all the pressure on Bo Nix, especially in the second half. Sean Payton, you were so close last game to having the perfect offensive game plan. Then we just stopped running the ball there in the second half. You saw how that played out. The Bengals have a vulnerable defense. Let's go ahead and get into some of that. Well, actually, too, I wanted to hit on this. Matt Henningsen is being elevated for tomorrow's game, as well as David Sills. So it's going to be interesting to see who's inactive. A.T. Perry, a guy that I thought we would see on the field right now. I thought that maybe we could have seen him this week or last week. David Sills still ahead of him. Man, so very interesting. Will David Sills have a role in the offense? Will we see Little Jordan Humphrey have be activated? Who's going to be inactive? Is it going to be Troy Franklin? I don't know. But if we're planning to run the ball, I think we need Little Jordan Humphrey activated. Hopefully. I don't know what we're going to do at the receiving core for this game. Now, in terms of like NFL rankings and stuff like that to total offense, all this fancy stuff, let me go ahead and I guess you guys can see this okay. We look at the Broncos. I mean, our offense, 24.2 points per game right now. Hey, you'll definitely take that. It's the best since 2014 with like the amount of points that we're scoring. So that's really great. Averaging 314 yards of offense. Cincinnati Bengals, as you can see, 360 yards of offense, averaging 28 points, guys. They are red hot. And when you get into their offense, I mean, it is no surprise right now what Joe Burrow is doing, man. With the weapons that he has, with the talent that he is, he's thrown for over 4,200 yards already with 2 games left, 39 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Now, this is an area where I feel like, hey, if they have an offensive tackle banged up as well or sick, this is where we can take advantage. 37 sacks. We need Nick Bonito to go crazy in this game. He is very, very important. Joe Burrow, he's sneaky on the run as well, but I wouldn't say he's got the legs of Justin Herbert, right? Justin Herbert, he burned us a couple times with his legs last Thursday. I think for us to go into Cincinnati, get this victory, of course you want to stop the run. And the Bengals offense, guys, they're one of the worst rushing offenses in the NFL right now. It's kind of funny because Chase Brown is going to be 1,000-yard back, and we run, I think, much better, for at least I think around 20 yards rushing more per game, which does add up, but we're not even close to having an 1,000-yard rusher. Chase Brown could be that year for the Bengals, but they average 92 rushing yards a game. And if we can just stop the run and make them one-dimensional, again, this isn't rocket science, guys, but we can take Chase Brown out of the equation. Can Chase Brown look like some of the running backs that we've shut down in the past, like Bijan Robinson, instead of, having Chase Brown look like LaDainian Tomlinson last week, or rather Hassan Haskins looking like LaDainian Tomlinson last week with like a 50-yard touchdown run? Let's be sure to stop them on the ground. I think we should be able to do that, and then get after Joe Burrow when he's passing. That's how we're going to have success, is hitting the quarterback. No doubt about it. Now, with Riley Moss returning, thank God we can get rid of this Vance Joseph zone-heavy defense that we've seen. Riley Moss, Pat Surtain. I don't think you'll see Pat Surtain follow Jamar Chase all over the place. I think you're going to have to feel good about whoever he's matching up with. Riley Moss, Pat Surtain, these are better corners in the NFL that and might be one of the best tandems out there right now compared to Yeah, all the other NFL teams. The Bengals wide receivers have their hands full with our secondary. And I believe we're going to put together a good performance this week from our secondary because we got everybody healthy. Now, I think it might have been Sire Bettinger on Locked On Broncos talking about this earlier this week, but he brought up the idea that he's like, I actually think you'll see Riley Moss lined up on T. Higgins a lot. Or, sorry, Pat Surtain lined up on T. Higgins a lot. And then you'll see Jamar Chase lined up against Riley Moss. And then we're bringing some safety help as well to double him with Brandon Jones. So it's going to be interesting to see how all this transpires. Another tight end that, hey, like I was kind of down on coming into this year because it's just been a little while since we've seen him perform well. Mike Gesicki's having a really good year for the Bengals. 511 receiving yards right now, a couple touchdowns. And this guy, man, I never pronounce his name correctly. Andre Iosivis. I think he's an Ivy League guy. 6 touchdowns on the year. Yeah, that's right. Princeton, 6th-round pick a couple years ago. He's huge, guys. 6'3", 205. He's somebody that could give us problems, especially, hey, we're talking about like if you're putting him in the slot against Jaquan McMillan, who's like 5'10", 5'11", that could be a mismatch that they could exploit. Zach Moss has been a disappointment this year for the Bengals. He's also been hurt, I believe. They also got some guys like Eric All, Jermaine Burton. Some of their depth guys are good receivers as well. So this offense is high flying, but thank God we got Riley Moss back. I think you're going to see us, hopefully, stack the bus, stop the run, blitz, blitz, blitz. Let's get back to our aggressive, fun, Wade Phillips inspired brand of defense on the Denver Broncos. That's what I want to see. That's all I want to see. And hopefully we can get Joe Burrow well into the 40s after this game with total sacks taken on the year. Now, when it comes to the Broncos side of things, let me go find Cincinnati's defense really quick. One of the worst defenses in total defense, giving up 360 yards a game. They give up 26.2 points per game. That's something to keep track of. On our side, we're still giving up under 20 points, 18.7. So it is a really good Bengals offense against a really good Broncos defense, although we haven't played very good over the last month. And yeah, we have an okay offense going up against, I would say, a bad defense. So we'll see who wins those battles. But right now, Cincinnati, they're giving up 130 yards per game against the run. And this is really, really important for the Broncos to be able to exploit. I also wanted to take a look at their sack numbers here. And just as a reminder, guys, they've won 3 straight against Cleveland, Tennessee, Dallas. I think that, hey, we're definitely their toughest challenge right now, out of those 3-4 opponents. Yeah, total sacks on the year. They got 30 sacks on the year. Okay. But facing us, it's going to be a new challenge. We saw Audric Estime on his 9 carries look amazing, and then we just stopped giving him the rock. Let's continue to run more of those power runs. I think Javonte Williams, he'll be active as he always is, but we saw more success with him running out of those gap run schemes. Let's continue to do that with Audric Estime and Javonte Williams. Right now, Audric Estime averaging 4.6 yards per carry. Jaleel McLaughlin is averaging 4.5 yards per carry. Now, Tyler Badie, he's only had 11 carries, 7.8 on the year, though. You guys have been clamoring for him. I thought we would have shut him down for the year by now, but with how poor our run game has been, it would be great to see just some new blood in there. It was nice to see Blake Watson getting there last week, and he had a great catch out of the backfield, if I remember correctly, for a first down, almost scored on it. Again, if it were up to me, I would probably bench Javonte for this one just because I like the idea of having some more explosiveness out of the backfield, but that's probably not going to happen, right? You're going to see probably Javonte and Audric Estime be those dudes coming out. But yeah, let's get after Joe Burrow. We got 51 total sacks on the year, guys. This is something that we truly got to exploit against Cincinnati. And let's get Cortland Sutton over 1,000 yards on offense after this game. He's had almost a career year. 72 yards away from hitting 1,000, 71 receptions. Devon Vele, he's been a little bit more quiet, but he did catch a touchdown pass last week against the Chargers. And Marvin Mims is really starting to come along. So, I think continue to feed those three guys, but I think we're going to need a standout game from one of those wide receivers in order for us to come and get this victory. It would be great for us to have a wide receiver that's just chewing up this Bengals defense in the first half to where they have to divert extra attention to that guy in the second half, and then we're able to just pull away. But again, Sean Payton needs to write this on both sides of his play card coming into tomorrow's game. Run the ball. Run the ball. Let's see what Audric Estime can do with 15 to 20 carries. There's supposed to be rain, right? When you look at the game log, again, man, 9 rushes for 48 yards, that's a 5.3 average and a touchdown. And then we just stopped giving him the ball. To me, this is the key to victory on offense. Get this guy the ball. 5'11", 230 pounds, and we need to know what we have in him before the draft. We're running out of time. We're running out of games. Let's figure out, can Audric Estime be depended on to be that Latavius Murray in a backfield with somebody that hopefully we can find that's like Alvin Kamara light, right? Can he be that 1B? Can he be that pounder pause that we need out of the backfield? Man, I sure hope so. Let's get into the forecast for tomorrow. Going to pull this up. Let's get to the hourly. People are saying this could be kind of like the Jets game, and so hopefully this goes well in our favor. But yeah, let's see. I think kickoff is at 4:30 Eastern time. 10% chance of precipitation right now. This is weather.com. Yeah. Maybe not till later we get some rain. So right now it looks like the rain is out of the forecast. So that's kind of a bummer because I felt like if this was going to be a monsoon like the Jets game, it really would have forced us to play smash mouth football, run the ball a lot, not put too much pressure on Bo, not get too cute. But now kind of looking at this forecast, this is a little bit of a bummer. We're going to need Sean Payton to remain disciplined in the play calling. Again, I think Sean Payton's a great coach. I think he's one of the better coaches in the NFL. That does not mean he does not have his weak spots or his blind areas. I think sometimes, man, he can forget to run the ball, and we've seen that happen a few times this year where I felt like it's come back to bite us. But let's get Audric Estime going, guys. Him and Riley Moss, these guys are my two kind of keys to victory, along with Nick Bedito. Those three guys, I think, need to have some really good games for us, or performances for us tomorrow. And let's go get this 10th victory. Let's go get this playoff berth, please. I don't want to chance it going week 18 against the Chiefs, even if they're playing their backups for most of the game. I don't want to go in with that pressure. Let's go in, respond after a loss. And I feel like we've done pretty well this year responding after losses when you look at kind of what we've done. So, of course, Seattle, Pittsburgh, that was a tough way to start. But after those victories, then we got a 3-game winning streak. We lost to the Chargers. We had a big-time bounce-back performance against New Orleans, Carolina. We got our butt beat in by Baltimore on the road, but again, we responded really well against Kansas City, and we were in position to win that game. We just couldn't execute down at the end, but that's what spurred a 4-game win streak from us, and that was snapped last week against the Chargers. So this team, I don't think it's like those late Mike Shanahan teams that were always like losing 2-3 straight to not make the playoffs in the wild card round with like Jake Plummer or Jay Cutler rather. And that was really tough to watch. I think this team's more resilient. I think they're tougher. I think they're more, prepared and disciplined to lose 3 straight. to finish out the season. I just don't see it. But Cincinnati, they're a very good team. Don't let their record deceive you. And they're starting to play a lot better football lately, and that's what you want to see out of your team, is to see them playing better in December. Hey, we haven't won since the Colts in December, so it's time to get that back and have a winning record in December. I think that would be really, really important for this team. We won in December versus Cleveland against the Colts, but we lost against the LA Chargers. So I would hate to finish 2-2 in December. Let's finish 3-1. That sounds a lot better. And yeah, I think we did see a better game from Bo Nix last week. I know that he didn't throw downfield a lot. I only watched through the All-22 once, and it was like on Christmas Eve or whatever. But it just seemed to me that the Chargers, man, they were taking a lot of stuff downfield away. And part of that, I think, was due to our wide receivers not being able to get open in this past game. But I thought he played well. He took what the defense was giving him, and we need some more juice in this receiving core. We all know that, but again, it's not as much of an issue with that if we were able to still run the ball consistently in the second half. And Sean Payton, judging by his comments this week, I think he's going to get back to doing that. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to my preview. Got 94 people checking in, watching in. So y'all be sure to smash that like, subscribe if you haven't yet. Almost to 2,100, and I'll get to some of your comments here. So let me know your keys to victory, how you guys feel about coming into this game. I'm a little bit bummed, guys. I won't be able to do a live post game right after. I'll probably do a video on Sunday because I do live here in San Antonio now. So going to the Alamo Bowl to watch the Buffs tomorrow against BYU just down the road. So I was really bummed that this game was flexed to Saturday because I might not be able to catch the end of it live. We'll see how it goes. Landon Lee, what's going on? Hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas holiday. I know Hanukkah just kicked off as well, so hope everybody's enjoying their time off, hopefully from work. The Bengals almost lost to the Cowboys and didn't look great against the Browns. They are a vulnerable team. It's amazing how Zach Taylor, man, the offense can look so good at times, but sometimes I wonder, man, if he's truly a good, head coach. Coach Chris, hey, appreciate the kind words. I really do love this. I'm really trying to spend some time and think about making some different style content for the channel. I'm just sometimes I'm like, well, I'll get to that later. But I think you guys, you're going to see me experimenting with some different kind of just topics and things like that throughout the off season. I'm going to try some new things, even styles video. I'm going to work. So thanks for sticking with me. Ronnie Garcia, I want to see what VJ has planned for this game. I want to see some Wade Phillips type of defense. And man, I feel like we've just gotten away from that over the last month. We've gotten rid of our uber aggressiveness on defense. And again, you could say it's just coincidence that we've gone a lot more passive with how we've played on defense with Riley Moss. But man, I really do feel like whether it's just him on the field, his leadership, just his energy, just helping things go, or it's just really affected Vance Joseph's how he's calling this defense. I think that that's true too. I don't think it's coincidence. I think it's ridiculous that you change so much of how you're calling a defense with one guy out. And I think because you've seen that change happen, it's why we've also not been playing our best football over the last month. Let's just get back to basics. Let's get back to our identity. And that's going to give us the best chance to win. We play man coverage, we blitz, we tackle, baby. We hit the quarterback, we sack them. We generate turnovers. Let's do it. I can live with Joe Burrow, burning us a few times, making some amazing throws with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase on the field. They do that every game. But can we limit that? Yes. And I think the way in which we limit those big plays is by playing our brand of football. VJ is a Wade Phillips disciple. Wade Phillips, he brings the heat. He brings the blitz. Let's go get after the quarterback, man. Let's go do it. I don't want to see Chase Brown look like LaDainian Tomlinson against us. And, man, you're right about this, Rodney Garcia. It was a rough week for our inside linebackers. Cody Barton, Justin Sternad might have had one of their worst games together as a duo during the season last Thursday. Let's see them have a bounce-back performance. Will we see more Drew Sanders this week? He had one snap. It was at the inside linebacker position, and he had a sack on defense. He did play special teams. Might we see more Drew Sanders? That's also why, guys, I didn't have us like selecting in my mock draft I did. And I just love playing the hypothetical games, doing all the – I know some people are super into fantasy sports. For me, I just love like doing mock drafts and like all that sorts of stuff. It's just a lot of fun. But that's also why like I haven't normally spent a top pick on inside linebacker with these mock drafts is I think we'll re-sign Barton. I think he's good. I could see us spending on another nice inside linebacker in free agency this year. Maybe Nick Bolton from the Chiefs, bring him over to the good side, right? That would be cool. But also Drew Sanders is a wild card. And Vance Joseph pointed it out this week. He's a linebacker. Not necessarily an inside, not necessarily an outside. He can kind of play a little bit all over the place, but I still really would prefer him to play inside. And I think it's pretty telling. At least the one snap we saw him play last week was at the inside position. He blitzed and got a sack. Can't argue against that. Dixon Sider. I'm worried about the leakers on offense for the Bengals. Seems like there is always someone that comes open, especially when we can't get to the quarterback. Hopefully with Moss in coverage, or hopefully with Moss, the coverage lasts longer. This is a wonderful point, Dixon. Yeah. Again, who was that random tight end that was just carving us up again from the Chargers last week? I can't even remember his name, but I never even heard of him. I think he had like 4 catches against us, or 3 catches for like over 50 yards. I think some of those were on third downs. It's going to be really important for us to get to Joe Burrow quickly. And Andrew Mason brought this up, I think it was earlier today or yesterday, about how Sean Payton took that Thursday night game because it knocked the Bengals out of the Thursday night slot. We took that on, and they're on a short week now, and we had extra time to prepare. So hopefully we look fresher, more explosive. We want this more. We've had to live with this terrible Chargers loss for over a week now. Let's see how we respond. But we need to play discipline. We need to play fast. We can't be letting these randos, these no-name guys, carve us up to make big plays. Wow. When we had Moss, our passing defense was ranked 7th, and since he's been out, we've dropped to 18th. Doesn't surprise me at all. Doesn't surprise me at all. D-Rock, what's up? I hope you're doing well. Merry Christmas. Our third down defense needs to get better. I could see Joe Burrow hit Gesicki on those short curl routes and out routes. Yes, and he can extend plays. And I don't think he's as good as Justin Herbert when you're talking about pure rushing. But he's a guy that can be crafty, moving around the pocket, avoiding sacks, but he's still taking 37 sacks this year. Man, can we get some pressure to this man? The tackles, they're going to be playing, but they're not 100%. Can Nick Bonito just, go absolutely crazy? Can Jonathan Cooper get a couple sacks as well? Man, I want to see that. I want to see that. But Gesicki's tough. He's essentially a big slot, and that as well as Iasovis, those are two guys that provide mismatches against our secondary. That's going to be tough to watch, to see how that is all accounted for. I want to see Estime. I want to see Watson. Those are the two backs I want to see the most as well. I think Watson has more upside than Jaleel, even though give me all 3 of those guys over Javonte Williams right now. Landon Lee, if we lose, we can still technically get in. just went against the Chiefs bench. Yes. Now, this is something to consider with the Chiefs. I think that they will play their backups for most of the game next week, but essentially it's going to be almost a month or like 3 weeks or so before they have to play their divisional game. And so that it's going to be something to keep in mind of, will we see them out there for at least a little bit? Because you don't want to go essentially an entire month without playing and then turn it on for the playoffs. Now, if there's a team that can probably just turn it on after not playing for a month, it's the Chiefs, right? So yeah, we'll have to see, but I don't want to chance it. And then you never know. Like, again, Carson Wentz might just turn back time and look like his old MVP self after going through a year of Andy Reid quarterback rehab. So I don't want to chance it. I think the Chiefs are smart, honestly, if they let us win next week, if we do need to win to get in, because even though I love my Broncos guys right now, I just don't really feel like our offense is much of a threat to anybody in the playoffs. And even though the Bengals have a terrible defense, it's still Joe Burrow right now. And if I'm the Chiefs, I would much rather face somebody like Bo Nix and this team, which is, I think, overachieving expectations with the rookie quarterback, than going up against Joe Burrow. Even though they've had a lot of success against the Bengals in the past, it's I would want the Broncos to get in too if I were them. David, I had a great Christmas. Thank you very much. Yeah. Estime has like one nice 2 carries, then gets benched. Can we give Estime like 3 straight carries and just see what happens? I've heard 50%, then 20%, now 10% chance of rain. Yes. So I think it's going to be clear conditions. Might be a little chilly when we look at the temperature. Well, not really. I mean, 54. That's totally great. Chris Meek says, if we can get 90 to 100-yard rushings, we can own this game. I love it. Man, if we get to 100 yards rushing, yes, please. They're giving up 130. Like, we don't even need to get to their average. If we just get to 75% of that, right? That's all we need. But yeah, Sean's always saying we need to run the ball, and then we don't. That's he can just get a little too cute sometimes. It's true. Mark's saying my gut tells me we win. Me 2 wins. Okay, 2 wins. Gotcha. So we win this week and we win next week, and that would prove Mike Kliss's prediction of 11 and 6. Correct. That's what I'm talking about. And this is what's great with this Bowls extension and the way that the money is distributed and all this stuff, man. It's going to be a really fun offseason. And I really do feel like we should be in the position where we can truly draft like the best player available, to a degree. Like, everybody is always filling needs, but I think like we have so many needs across the roster that you can't really go wrong with who ends up falling to us in the first round. I would prefer tight end. I'd prefer not to draft a running back in the first round. But like, man, I'm cool if we go with nose tackle, wide receiver, tight end, running back, just somebody to impact this team. I like the feeling of being an underdog rather than the favorite. And I think that's how younger teams prefer it just in general too. Like, we're one of the younger teams in the NFL. Sometimes like it can take a little while before you start winning with, that expectation is put on you. We're playing with house money right now when it comes to the development of the team. Cause again, Vegas had us winning 5-6 games. We're on the brink of a playoff berth. We've overachieved. And sometimes I think you just need a little bit of seasoning and experience before you start winning all the games that you should be expected to win. So we'll see what happens. We've had a really good record this year against teams worse than us, like record-wise, and the Bengals fall into that category. I think we got 8 wins against teams with losing records. Now, I know, Dave, We haven't had the toughest schedule, but hey, you can't control who you play. Right now, we're on the brink of getting 10 wins. We have a winning record locked down for the first time since 2016. Let's get to double digits. I think that that would be really cool. So, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I can't wait to see how this game goes tomorrow. I'm nervous about it, but it's also like I'm really excited to see how the team again responds after such a disappointing loss against a divisional foe that, man, we should have won that game. We absolutely should have won that game. Let's see Bo Nix bounce back. Let's see the running game actually get some love. And let's go beat a team that, yes, they got insane Hall of Fame talent on the passing side of the football with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, all that. But let's go shut those guys down enough to where T. Higgins is saying, you know what? If you can't beat them, join them, right? Let's go clinch against the Bengals again. Guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful Friday night. Enjoy the game tomorrow. I'll be back on Sunday. Go Broncos.